Tonight on CTV News at 5.
It's definitely frightening and unsettling. We hear the strikes and the missiles.
Desperate to get home, a Halifax woman is stranded in Qatar as the war in the Middle East escalates.
$22, I would get 20 pounds of produce, 2 loaves of bread and a dozen eggs, and that is wonderful.
Feeding the need, a new market aims to give struggling families healthy options.
This memory is going to be just in my mind forever because I know she was having fun too.
And mom on the move. A Fredericton mother hopes to push her way into the record books.
A very winter-feeling night ahead for the Maritimes as temperatures remain below average for early March.
Live from the Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News at 5.
Good evening and welcome to CTV News at 5. I'm Maria Panopoulos. Thank you for joining us. First at 5 tonight, far from home. 6 days into the conflict in the Middle East and still thousands of Canadians find themselves near the danger. More than 2,000 Canadians have requested assistance from the government to come home. Among them, a Halifax woman who says she's been trying desperately to leave Qatar. CTV's Stephanie Sikos has her harrowing ordeal. Hi, Steph.
Hi, Maria. Miriam Kareem's trip overseas quickly took a turn. She was en route to visit her grandmother who had recently had a stroke when the attacks began. Miriam Kareem never imagined she'd be stuck nearly 10,000 kilometers from home.
It's just a waiting game just to see where this will end up, and we've been just told to shelter in place.
She and her mother left from Halifax last Thursday, landing in Qatar Friday evening.
My grandmother in Iraq, she suffered a stroke. We booked this flight or this trip very last minute, February 14th. Before booking, we obviously checked the news and everything, and there were no travel advisories or warnings to the region.
By the next morning, everything had changed after the U.S. and Israel launched military strikes against Iran. Iran retaliated, and since then, the conflict has escalated.
It's definitely frightening and unsettling. We hear the strikes and the missiles while they're being intercepted, and they're very loud.
Airspace is closed entirely in Qatar, leaving fewer options available for Canadians like Kareem to get home.
We have been seeing around on the news that UK, US, and France, its citizens have been evacuated, or some evacuation measures have been put in place for them.
Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister has said there are risks with ground transportation, noting staying put can sometimes be the safer option.
If Canadians wish to leave, we are putting in place options for them to do so, and those options are tailored to the particular country.
When Kareem initially booked the trip, she had a return flight scheduled for March 18th, but she hopes to get home to Halifax sooner.
If we don't get out now, we hope that we can get out by then, at least, to return to our families and our commitments. But I don't know. It's very uncertain, and it keeps escalating minute by minute.
At this point, Miriam Kareem is just waiting and contacting the Canadian Embassy for any updates. She hopes the Canadian government will be able to help get her and all of the other Canadians there to safety. Maria.
Oh, a developing story for sure. Thank you, Stephanie. CTV Stephanie Sikos for us in the news center this evening. All right, let's head over to the anchor desk now, where Todd Battis has a preview of CTV News at 6.
Hi, Maria. Yeah, the war in the Middle East has affected international shipping lines as well, of course, and that will inevitably cause a ripple effect here in the Maritimes and the goods that come and go from our ports. So tonight at 6, we'll look at how shipping strategies here are being looked at and how all of this could affect the goods that you purchase. It's been a loud and boisterous few days in and outside the Nova Scotia legislature, with rallies protesting the Progressive Conservative government's proposed budget cuts. The Premier being the focus of most of the anger from an assortment of groups complaining he's gone too far. Tim Houston remains defiant. Coming up at 6, the Premier and those protests. We've seen, well, let's call it an interesting late winter temperature trend the last few days. Wild swings between milder conditions followed by this frigid cold air, especially at night. Among the effects, of course, are potholes. We talk a lot about that, but also safety warnings about being on the ice. We've got some important reminders for you tonight at 6 o'clock. So let's bring in Kayla Mitchell right now and talk about, well, some of those cooler temperatures. And they're certainly here, and it doesn't look like they're going to move out too fast.
Yeah, what a change over the last 24 hours in the Maritimes. This time yesterday, we were taking a look at temperatures in the region that were sitting several degrees above the freezing mark. Now, they're several degrees below the freezing mark for most of the region. Some of the colder areas at the moment include parts of Prince Edward Island, where both Summerside and Charlottetown are sitting at around -11, and some eastern areas of Nova Scotia. We're in Cape Breton right now. Shetty Cap sitting at around -10, and same thing goes for Sydney. Slightly milder, and I use the term milder quite loosely here, is right around the southwestern corner of Nova Scotia, where at the moment there's some temperatures sitting between around -1 and +2. +2 there at Yarmouth. Pretty much the lone holdout as far as an area in the Maritimes, sitting around or just above the freezing mark. Taking a look at the winds, of course, they play an important role in this. North and northeast for today, they kept that colder air in place. They're being sustained right now between 10 and 20 kilometers per hour for most areas. Getting a few gusts reported between 30 and 40 kilometers per hour, but not too many. Looking at things on radar and satellite, it is sort of a mixture of some clear conditions and partly cloudy sky across the Maritimes tonight. It's going to be on the clearer side for northern, some central areas of New Brunswick, parts of Prince Edward Island, and parts of the north and east of Nova Scotia, with a little bit more cloud cover towards the southwest of New Brunswick and southwestern areas of Nova Scotia. We have some more ups and downs when it comes to the temperatures in the extended forecast, and I'll talk more about that when I'm back later on. Maria.
Thank you very much, Kaylin. We will check in with you a little later on. Right now, though, it's time for our first break here on CTV News at 5. Still to come, the Donair musical gets new life breathed into it. We'll explain next. And a little later, we have this story.
Hi, McConvey here in Halifax. Coming up on CTV News at 5, Feeding the Need. The community of Fairview and Clayton Park in Halifax is coming together to address food insecurity in a unique way. I'll have more on their fresh food market coming up.
We're Give to Live. Our mission is to inspire you to live happy and healthy lives through generosity, fitness, and achieving the extraordinary. Join us and support our charities. Get inspired at givetolive.ca and achieve your extraordinary.
29 people from 9 countries took the oath of citizenship today in Eastern Passage, Nova Scotia. Dignitaries, along with family and friends, joined faculty and students at Island View High School to welcome Canada's newest citizens. Citizenship Judge Joan Mahoney presented each new Canadian with their citizenship certificate and, of course, a warm welcome to their new home. Congratulations, everyone. On to our next story here. Back in 2021, we brought you the story of a Cape Breton man who wanted to make a musical about the Donair. The pandemic shut down the idea back then, but as CTV's Ryan McDonald shows us, Donair, the musical, might hit the stage after all. Take a look.
You see, we found the perfect recipe. It's all in the family. We stole it from our uncle in Halifax. Here's the hymn.
Nearly 5 years ago, there were plans to make a musical surrounding Nova Scotia's signature food. A lot has happened since then.
One of them would have been that global pandemic, which really screwed up our plans for staging the Donair the musical.
The off-the-wall, or should I say off-the-spit, idea never did get to see the light of day before a live audience. But now, the meaty musical is being revived after the man who dreamed it up, Paul McDougall, had a chance conversation with Savoy Theatre General Manager Carol Ann Gillis.
And before I knew it, Carol Ann and I had decided that she would take it on as the director.
Well, have a look around. It's the story of my life. Born and raised into a family, making pizza pie.
The plot tells the story of a mom-and-pop restaurant in 1970s Cape Breton trying to survive by capitalizing on the popularity of the hot new food from the provincial capital.
The Donair had just started, 1973, in Halifax, and how a family in Cape Breton decides, hey, maybe we can turn our pizza shop into a Donair shop.
McDougall has written about 10 short plays over the past 20 years or so. The idea for this one first struck him back in 2006. This time he says it's actually happening, and that ticket sales prove that there is, well, an appetite for it.
I think they're 140, 150 sold.
McDougall says that it's set for 2 nights in August at the Savoy, with a casting call in early March for actors and musicians. And not unlike a 2 a.m. Donair, he says that it's better late than never.
100% Cape Breton-driven product of a great Nova Scotia food. It's just all wrapped up in tin foil, waiting for you to just dig your teeth into.
At the big celebration honoring the occasion of selling 10,000 Donairs.
A Donair dream that in this case may have simply required a little reheating. Ryan McDonald, CTV News, Sydney.
It's not 2 a.m., but I want a Donair right now.
I might have to shave off some time and go see that.
I love it. Okay, well, we'll wrap that story up and move on to talking about the weather.
Yeah.
What a chilly day it was out there.
Donair sounds good on an evening like this because it is a cold one across the Maritimes. Beautiful scene here, though, in Cape Breton today. This is at Catalone Gut, and you can see that it was a fair weather mix of sun and cloud. Got those sort of fair weather cumulus clouds that are floating in the background. But yeah, it sure was cold, and we're heading into a cold night, and I'll have more on that after the break.
So it was only a matter of time before companies started making smartphones for pets. Yeah, the pet phone made its debut at the World Mobile Congress in Spain. It's mounted on a pet's collar. When it senses a lot of barking or agitation, the phone automatically calls the owner. A camera allows the owner to see what's going on while they speak to their pet, Kaylin. Sounds like a good idea, but I have a feeling a lot of pets are going to catch on that if they put up a ruckus, they're gonna hear the voice of their mom or dad.
We've gone too far. That's my opinion on this one. Too far.
Let's dial it back. Let's dial it back. All right. It's going to be a chilly, chilly night. Probably a good night to throw an extra log on the fire, huh?
Yeah, tonight in the Maritimes feels pretty much like a sort of dead of winter night. Very cold across the region, and we'll take a look at some overnight low temperatures in a moment. First of all, though, we'll take a look at our sunrise and sunset times as we go to the Halifax Harbor Front for today, where it was much colder if you were down there walking around the boardwalk than it was yesterday. And as we take a look at our weather systems map, we did have some sunshine today. I mean, that was the plus side. Underneath an area of high pressure here in the region, and that high pressure system is centered up towards Hudson Bay, but we do fall a bit under it here in the Maritimes. We're going to avoid a low pressure system developing and making its way through the northeastern United States. That is going to be bringing in some freezing rain to parts of southern Ontario, as well as parts of the northeastern U.S., so at least we don't have to contend with that type of weather here in the Maritimes. Not much to show you on radar at the moment. There's maybe a low chance of a couple of flurries just drifting through the area between Halifax and up towards the eastern shore, communities like Ecum-Sika. And that'd be underneath the cloud cover that's still remaining in place around a trough of low pressure that dipped north to south across the Maritimes over the last 18 hours. Now for tonight, that little trough of low pressure does keep a little bit more cloud cover around western areas of Nova Scotia and the southwest of New Brunswick. Partly cloudy conditions there, even around midnight. Clearer conditions in northern areas of New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, and the north and east of Nova Scotia. Very cold start to the day for tomorrow, but there should be a good deal of sunshine around the region. In the afternoon, it's more of a mix of sun and cloud. Sunnier conditions expected around Prince Edward Island, eastern areas of New Brunswick, and northern eastern areas of Nova Scotia, including Cape Breton, and then some increasing cloudiness in western areas of New Brunswick, and still a bit more of a mix of sun and cloud around the southwest of Nova Scotia. Now, winds for this evening are still at the north and northeast, but the wind direction does change a little bit for the Maritimes for Friday, with the winds becoming east and southeast. And that means, while it's very cold tonight and very cold to start the day for tomorrow, there's a little bit of recovery as far as the afternoon high temperatures go. There'll still be a below average for early March, but not as cold for most communities as it was today. Taking a look at low temperatures in the forecast for tonight, though, we do have some communities that are going to be dipping down into the -20s, including northern areas of New Brunswick, Some communities in Prince Edward Island tonight could fall down to around -20, -21. Some interior areas of Nova Scotia at lower elevations, like spaces between hills or in valleys, for example, could have some low temperatures. They get pretty close to the -20 mark. Otherwise, in northern eastern areas of Nova Scotia, it'll be -15 to -18. And in western areas of Nova Scotia tonight, most of the low temperatures between -10 and -13, except a few parts of the coast that'll have some low temperatures between around -5 and -8. High temperatures in the forecast for tomorrow in New Brunswick. Most of the highs expect to be in the range of -2 to -5, though Campbellton could be a little bit colder, around -7. And a few communities right down in the southwest of the province could squeak out +1, including St. Stephen. Charlottetown and Summerside for tomorrow, as well as much of Prince Edward Island with a high temperature of around -6, and Nova Scotia with some high temperatures between 0 and -5. Then in the weekend forecast, though, the trend for temperatures, well, it heads the other way, and things start to become a little bit milder. There will be a round of some showers and drizzle that develop for parts of the Maritimes through the day on Saturday. The high temperatures, though, will be coming up between 4 and 7 degrees. In a lot of cases, these temperatures will continue to rise Saturday night into Sunday morning. Let's take a look at our weather watcher for tonight. And tonight's weather watcher is coming in from 7-year-old Stella. And Stella has sent us a drawing done on the chalkboard at Granny's house. And it shows Stella under the umbrella while walking their dog, Jerry. Thank you, Stella. It's a great drawing. And weather watchers can come in anytime to CTV Weather Watchers, P.O. Box 1653, Halifax, Nova Scotia, B3J2Z4, or email kaylin.mitchell@bellmedia.ca. Maria.
Thank you, Kaylin. So the team at Square Roots Fairview Clayton Park in Halifax has partnered with the Salvation Army to address food insecurity in the city. CTV's Emma Convey shows us now how they're feeding families while reducing food waste.
It may look like an empty room with tables, but in just over 24 hours, this space will blossom into a fresh market, filled with fresh produce, grocery essentials, and a few dozen volunteers.
Potatoes, onions, carrots, sweet potatoes, cabbage, apples, beets, whatever the valley is producing, and then we get some seasonal stuff.
Every other Friday, volunteers with Square Roots Fairview and Clayton Park unload trucks full of fresh fruits and vegetables for their Saturday market.
We buy produce from local farmers from the valley that they can't sell to the big box stores, either because they're seconds, so too small, too big, too knobbly, or it's surplus.
And they pass the savings on to the community. They now have around 20 locations. The plan is to address food insecurity and reduce waste.
Our customers will get a £10 bundle of produce, a loaf of bread, and 6 eggs. And for the 6 eggs, we would ask them for a minimum donation of $1. So for $11, you've got a nice little bundle there, which is enough for 2 people. The bigger the family, the more bundles they have.
It's $1 per pound, or pay what you can, as well as pay it forward.
Get their grab-and-go box, they get their eggs when they come back the next time. We have a bin outside. Please drop it back in so we can reuse it.
It started in 2019 at the Halifax West Community Church, a free space for them thanks to the Salvation Army.
The Salvation Army does a lot of social work, social mission work, where we are wanting to make sure people are fed, people are clothed, people are housed, and this is just meets one aspect of that from the food side.
They've only seen an increase in the number of people who rely on their services.
When we first took over, it was your typical blue-collar family. But now we're seeing white-collar families, white-collar individuals. Everybody is feeling the pinch.
They have 110 bundles already signed up for this weekend. Anyone can order online or drop by. It's open 10 until 11:30 every other Saturday morning. Emma Convey, CTV News, Halifax.
Wonderful initiative. Thank you, Emma. Time for a final break here on CTV News at 5. But first, a preview of our next story.
I'm Laura Brown in Fredericton, and coming up on CTV News at 5, Julia Reed Howell and her 17-month-old daughter, Winnie, are waiting to hear from the Guinness World Records to confirm they did, in fact, run the fastest 1K while pushing a stroller. And let me tell you, the pair are very, very fast. I'll have that story coming up on CTV News at 5.
Welcome back. A Fredericton mom and her 17-month-old have achieved something that just might land them in the record books. CTV's Laura Brown introduces us to the mom and daughter with a need for speed.
It's not something Julia Reed Howell set out to do on her maternity leave.
I was just hoping that I would be able to run again, honestly.
Clearly, the avid runner didn't miss a step after having her daughter Winnie. In fact, Julia had a fantastic season last year, crowned Run NB's Female Runner of the Year. But when the season was over, she wondered if there was something else she could work toward.
I was chatting with a group of my girlfriends that would meet up to go running with Winnie in the stroller each week. And we were talking about how there's Guinness World Records for stroller runs. And so that kind of sent me down a rabbit hole.
She discovered the fastest 1 kilometer pushing a stroller at 3 minutes 35 seconds is held by a woman from France, a time Julia thought she could chase. Last weekend, with the help of family, her run team, and of course, Winnie, she made the attempt and outran even her own expectations.
I just felt so elated, like seeing my daughter happy. Like I wasn't even really looking ahead on the track. I could just look down and her feet were wagging and like she was clapping her hands and smiling. I was like, this memory is going to be just in my mind forever.
Julia's time, 3 minutes, 17 seconds. The person least surprised, her husband.
The things she can do when she sets her mind to something, like it's almost like I've become like desensitized to it, and just like when she says she's gonna do something, I'm like, yeah, of course. So it wasn't like shocking to me at all that she broke the record.
Winnie is a pro too. The 17-month-old loves being along for the ride. The family is finalizing her submission to Guinness World Records this week, just in time as Julia goes back to work Monday, armed with a million memories and likely a world record.
You don't have to be an elite athlete, an Olympian to chase these kind of goals.
Especially when your biggest fan can be with you every step of the way. Laura Brown, CTV News, Fredericton.
Oh, I absolutely love this story. Way
great.
to go, Julia. Way to go, Winnie. And what an awesome memory to have together. And imagine how much fun it would be in that stroller.
A ton of fun, absolutely. Congratulations, Julia. Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, think about how good her running's going to be. That's like resistance training.
Oh, yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. Coming up in the forecast, of course, we still have some swings in temperatures ahead of us as we close out this week and move into the upcoming weekend. If you're looking for milder temperatures, I guess the good news is that temperatures are headed up through the weekend into the start of next week, and I'll tell you about which days are going to be the mildest on CTV News at 6.
We'll see you at 6. I'll see you tomorrow. The national news is next.